Good evening, Jeopardy fans, and we are live once again here on hashtag Jeopardy Live panel presented by thejeopardyfan.com. I am Andy Saunders, and I am once again moderating tonight's discussion. It's good to be back. We've been on a bit of a minor hiatus. I apologize for that. I have been significantly under the weather the last couple of weeks, but we are back. And I have three contestants from the most recent College Championship. I'll introduce you guys in the order in which you first appeared on the program, as always, here on hashtag Jeopardy Live panel. First up, we're going to introduce the $100,000 champion, the spiciest meme lord,
Oh my God.
Lily Chin. Thanks for joining us. Next up, we've got Mari Hanley. Thank you. And last but not least, Allison Hawley.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining me. Let's see, I guess a good spot to start off, I think you certainly got a lot of the attention, at least late in the tournament, for the way you won. How did Spiciest Meme Lord come about, Lily?
So before the tournament, I knew that, like, okay, if I had a joke answer time, I gotta pre-compute what I want my joke answer to be, and I really wanted to do dank memes. But I really thought that dank was not going to get past the censors. So I ended up going like, okay, spicy memes are a thing. Then finally the question ended up being a who is, so you have to adapt it for the circumstances. Yep.
Nice.
What was the reaction? What was your reaction, Allison and Mari, when you saw that from the audience?
I mean, I thought. Go
ahead.
Okay, I thought it was absolutely amazing. I mean, both to just like see Lily win, just because like that's who I was rooting for throughout the finals. But then also just to like see that and to have Alex say spiciest meme lord, like pretty much made my day. So.
You could definitely tell the fine young folks in the audience, they were all dying of laughter. And then there was the other side of the audience who were the mostly older people who have come to see Jeopardy and make their pilgrimage, and they were concerned, like, what in tarnation are you talking about?
These youths on my Jeopardy, how dare they?
They're soiling the good name of Final Jeopardy.
So I think that's an interesting thing because like the entire tournament, like I always kind of feel that was like the older question writers trying to like write for youths these days. Like They literally had a category called kids these days, and I'm like, I don't know. So this is like, oh look, it's millennial culture or whatever that you don't know about. I was pretty amused by it after the fact, but yeah.
The category is, what are those?
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Well, I think that was something that needed to come up after the teen tournament, but
yeah. Oh man.
Were you at all surprised by the reaction to it on the internet?
About like the meme lord thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the time I really just did it to amuse myself, and then Julia, the Georgetown contestant, came up to me and was like, "You're going to get so many hits on BuzzFeed," and I was like, "Wait, what? Oh, I didn't even think about that." And I wrote that down in my journal, and then when I showed it to my friends, they've just been like underlining this section of being like you didn't consider the social media implications, yeah. God, it's also really weird because now like all of my friends and like the people at MIT are like, "Are you the spiciest meme lord?" And I'm like, "Oh God."
I mean, didn't they read the clue? Clearly, it was talking about Johannes Kepler as the
It's clearly
meme
Kepler.
lord.
I don't know what anyone's talking about.
I mean, he is pretty spicy.
Yeah.
Man, you've seen the Harka Vagrant about him and Tycho Brahe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a Super Gruda in the Great Midwest Trivia Contest a couple years ago about Copernicus, and so I was like searching through the Tumblr tags, and like all I was finding was that Harka Vagrant comment. No, guys, it's a different astronomer. I just want to find this vandalism in Poland. Come on.
I just love when people bring up Brahe. Oh, Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, please.
No, I'm gonna speak my piece.
Do it,
Please.
Mari.
Go ahead, Mari, please.
Sorry.
Speaking of the Great Midwest Trivia Contest,
Yeah.
we had somebody on live panel a few weeks ago who also played in the contest, Christopher Deneau. Now, what's it like playing from on campus? Because Chris obviously had the off-campus experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'd say like I obviously only have on-campus experience. As far as I know, it's like fairly similar. I don't know, maybe easier because like you know that you could theoretically just like go to bed at any point since you're like playing usually where you live. But I mean, but then there's also like action questions and like you could just like run into a trivia master like barely awake, just like walking around campus. But yeah, I really love the Great Midwest Trivia Contest. So
what's the format of that like?
So it's like super obscure trivia, but ideally it is supposed to be findable. So it's more like an internet scavenger hunt.
Ooh, okay.
That lasts the entire last weekend of January because what else is there to do in January in Wisconsin? So you just like get a team, usually anywhere from like 10 to 20, maybe more people. And so they read a question on the air, and then you have 3 minutes to find answers, and they had to call in your answers to the radio station. And then like before the 3 minutes are up.
Okay.
And it's insane, and I love it. And it's a Lawrence tradition, so.
So do they have like predetermined teams that they know, oh, like Team Armadillo is calling in, or?
So when you register a team, you get an assigned number. And so then when like you give your answer and it's correct, then you give your team name and number. And at the end of the question, they will read the teams that called in correctly over the air. And that's how points are accumulated. And usually, yeah, like you just like find teams with friends, or dorms will make teams, or like in Appleton, there are like alumni teams. Or I think like we even had like international teams that have played in the past, which is really cool. So
it's really awesome, actually. Yeah. I think was it talked about in Ken Jennings' book?
Yeah, he briefly mentions it because there's a similar contest in Stevens Point that he really talks about a lot, which is kind of like in the area.
Okay.
But just from like how he described it, it didn't sound quite as good. But maybe I'm just biased.
Okay.
So yeah, I personally haven't had the chance to play either, but they both sound like a lot of fun. So definitely. So obviously you guys get sequestered during the quarterfinals. Lily, not so much because you got to play Monday. But what kind of movies do they play for? Because I know I've heard in the past that they show movies in the green room while you're sequestered. So what movies did you guys get to watch?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, we watched Shaun of the Dead, and then Talladega Nights, which ended right before the match I was supposed to go out, which was the 4th of the day. And I think during like the last waiting period, they started to watch The Princess Bride, but I think Julia mostly just played Jumbling Towers by herself. So yeah, Karina brought a lot of movies, so we had lots of options. It was great.
Yeah, Jumbling.
Rip-off version. Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell it. You can tell it.
Well, we had a rip-off of Jenga called Jumbling Towers that just... It was our spicy meme lord.
Yeah, it was better, even better, because then in the mock rounds for the second day of filming, there was like a category on like board games and stuff. And there was a clue about Jenga, which someone of course had to ring in on and guess as Jumbling Towers. So yeah, it was good.
It was a good time.
I'm sure the older people in the audience were so confused by this, but
I think it was funny because I think also only the contestant coordinators know we had been making jokes about Jumbling Towers this entire time. Yeah. And then like once this like random Jenga question comes up, like all the contestants are freaking out.
Well, yeah, and like the rest of the production staff is just like, okay, kids, how about you quiet down?
Wasn't there a question on Hamilton in one of the games that we all sort of lost it as well?
Oh man,
I don't remember. I know that there was a question on Snoopy, which Glenn said you were wrong on, just because that's like Maggie's go-to wrong answer thing.
Yes.
And like he tried to explain that
it.
like he had like denied you the points as a joke, but then like I don't think they ever fixed it. I mean, but it was a mock game, so it doesn't really count.
Mhm.
It counts to me.
By the way, if you have any questions or comments for tonight's panel, you can always use the hashtag Jeopardy Live panel on Twitter, or you can use our YouTube chat. Either one, I have both of those up. We have a question on the hashtag from, or at least a question that was sent to me from Ben Ingram. He has a question for the distinguished panel of panelists. Why bounce around after the daily doubles are depleted?
Yeah, Lily.
Okay, so I guess here's how I defend myself. I mean, so I actually didn't really jump around as much to do daily doubles, and I was rightly criticized for not betting enough on the daily doubles, which I'm going to fix for the Tournament of Champions. But I mostly jumped around because, one, it throws off the other opponents still because they don't know where you're going to go. And two, it makes the gameplay a lot more similarly to Quiz Bowl, because in Quiz Bowl, you get toss-ups and they can be on any category, right? You can like literally switch from TV shows to like, I don't know, Bible verses in one question. So that's a format I'm a lot more familiar with, and I might as well make myself comfortable and not my opponents. So
Whatever keeps them on edge.
yeah.
It makes sense. Another question for Lily from Christopher Deneau on the YouTube chat. Who are you looking forward to meeting or playing against in the Tournament of Champions?
Man, I haven't watched all the episodes yet, so I don't really I know anybody. The only person I know is Pranjal, because he's an MIT alum, and so he actually gave me some advice when he saw what was going on, and now I actually have to face him, and I don't really know how it's going to go. Yeah, it feels really weird. Yeah.
That, but I mean, I'm guessing you won't have issues, finding the old episodes and figuring out, figuring out who to go, who I guess strengths, weaknesses, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah. But I guess I don't even have TV set up in my room right now, so yeah, this is definitely I haven't really been following the season. I also didn't think I was going to play this Tournament of Champions, so. Since it's been confirmed, now I have to go do studying, I guess.
But I mean, you've got some time, so so you've got some time to look at that. And now, by confirmed, do you mean a date's been confirmed, or just that you're confirmed that you're playing in it?
The Tournament of Champions tracker on the Jeopardy website has me and Sam Deutsch on the website, so I assume that means we're both in it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's but that's what generally we thought as well. So that's no surprise here. So switching gears or I don't know about switching gears, but I guess along that strategy line a little bit, did you guys have a wild card number in mind going into the quarterfinals?
I didn't, and I really should have, because I mean, I got bumped for my wild card position, and I was really waffling between wagering 4,000 and 6,000. So I wish I had, because I don't know, I just assumed I would know what to do, but Jeopardy is real, it's really real, and I just hit you. So yeah.
I had no idea. I just sort of hoped for the best and didn't want to bet at all. But I really wanted to at the same time. I sort of had to in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because Clarissa and Alex were darn good at that buzzer.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was the really worst part of this whole thing, was buzzing in.
The end times you do it again, right?
Yeah, no, and I felt so terrible because I outbuzzed Natano. I honestly thought that one of the questions Natano was going to buzz in before I did. And when I got the question, I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry. I was so full of guilt that I just couldn't answer the question. I'm like, why? I know this.
Oh, so you did know the shalom question, or?
Yeah, no, before sort of deciding that I wanted to stick with so I'm a medieval historian by trade. Before deciding that I wanted to stick with England, I thought that I wanted to study the Crusades, so I went and learned Hebrew for an unknown reason.
Oh wow.
So I knew it, but I was so blinded by guilt that I was like, blanked out completely.
Oh no.
Oh man. Yeah, I wish he could have made it to this panel because I'm interested to hear how he's doing and everything. But like, yeah, I remember seeing that and being like, oh my goodness.
I mean, he almost whacked me with his elbow on a few occasions because he was buzzing so hard.
Oh.
Yeah. I read the final wager before I came on, so I knew that above 12K was the sweet spot. So I was aiming to be like above 15K for the wild card spot. Yeah. I guess like I guess I'm also kind of curious like what other kind of prep did y'all do? Because I know that Clarissa was talking about Coriat scores and all that and playing on J Archive, but yeah.
So, my family, when I'm at school, just DVRs Jeopardy episodes, and then we just watch them in mass when I'm at home. So really, I just had like an already like stockpile of Jeopardy. Like when I came home after like finals at Thanksgiving, and so I was like, well, like I can just like start getting through these, and I like got the call, and I was like, oh, well now I can use these as practice. So yeah, I just mostly just watched a lot of DVR Jeopardy.
Mhm.
So I also. I don't know, like not in terms of like game stuff, but I found it really helpful that like it was the end of the year, and so like every single website was putting out their like top blank of 2016. So I'm like, oh, look at all this media I missed.
Yeah.
It's apparently really good and really popular. So that was helpful.
I mostly went through the J6 stuff. I'm one of those horrible people that may or may not be getting my Jeopardy from that one guy on Reddit. It's just every day at exactly 4:15. I don't know what else he does, but he is a delight and a wonderful human. And I just sort of sit in my room when I really should be studying, just being like, yeah, Jeopardy.
I have bad news for you, Mari. I'm not sure if allegedly his laptop oh, he managed to get today's episode up, so you're still in luck. But I know that his laptop conked out yesterday, and I almost want to crowdfund for the guy's new laptop. But
Oh goodness.
I mean, he needs help. Like, let's send an army of guinea pigs, like armed with various computer parts, to help him.
Oh man.
I will say you are likely not the only person in Jayville who is very much beholden to that one man on Reddit.
Does he know the kind of power he has?
I just love
Die.
I love like all the comments on whenever he posts, and everybody is just like, run away with me to like a small Caribbean island.
To which someone else replied, how would we get Jeopardy episodes then?
I think he'd find a way. Like, he'd build a satellite. Whatever.
All he needs is internet. All he needs is internet, and he's got his setup. But
if you're watching this, mysterious Jeopardy hero, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My username on Reddit is Zenev. Just talk to me. I want to know that you are a true and delightful being. Send you please.
No, straight up for the viewing party, for the finals, like we couldn't get the streaming working on time, like the cable box wasn't working. So we ended up just downloading the episode from like that one guy on Reddit, and like that's what we watched. Oh goodness. Man.
Yeah. It's strange how that works out sometimes.
Yeah.
So what else did you guys do when you were in Los Angeles for the taping?
Liberate tar pits.
Oh, of course.
So many phones.
I have my aunts and my godparents live in Los Angeles. So yeah, I went and visited them, had a nice family dinner. Yeah.
I hung out with my mom the Monday before filming, and we went to Universal, and then went to Hidden Figures that night.
Nice.
It was good stuff.
Good stuff.
La Brea Tar Pits is actually surprisingly popular amongst Jeopardy contestants.
But they have an entire wall of direwolf skulls. It's so perfect. We had
Such
an
a
entire
nerd.
conversation in the green room about why remains are wonderful, and yeah, it was great.
No, I think my favorite part of the whole tournament was definitely the dinner that we had after everything was over, and we just like finally like did not have to wear sweatshirts and like could chat about whatever. That was the best. Yeah.
That was really good.
Oh yeah, no, that was hearing about Alex's many. Oh gosh, that was.
Alex's many what?
He's not here to defend himself, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, fair.
Caltech does fun stuff just like MIT does. So
We also attempted to rank the MIT Beaver against the Caltech Beaver,
I forgot about that.
Yes.
and so far the MIT Beaver is in the lead. Caltech proved me wrong.
No. Caltech Beaver is so much better than MIT Beaver. MIT Beaver is really creepy, and I'm gonna stand by this.
But the creepiness is so wonderful.
Oh goodness.
Like the Alex Trebek of beavers.
What does that even mean?
What?
Alex Trebek is really great, but he's also really creepy. I would argue that between him and Pat Sajak is like the wholesome, you trust him with your kids, but Alex Trebek, you'd be like, yeah, hi. How you doing?
Oh man.
Speaking of Alex Trebek, what did you guys talk about in the post-game? But you guys are standing up there on stage with him. What are you talking about in the post-game interviews?
What?
During the credits.
Yeah, during the credits. What are you talking about during the credits with Alex? Do you remember?
Yeah, so mine was kind of weird because I didn't know how I finished in regards to wildcard placement. But he was just like, "Oh, I don't think you made it enough." And it wasn't until I got back to the audience and sat with the other contestants that they told me that I had bumped Jen out for the 4th spot. And then Corey said how his aunt has a crush on Alex Trebek, which yeah, he was really weirded out by. So I just got to awkwardly stand by and see that happen.
Oh.
He said that we played a really good game, lauded Alex, and was like, "You're doing great. Clarissa, wonderful job. Way to see you go on the buzzer." Mari, please tone down the swearing.
Wait, I didn't realize you swore that much. I know Mohan was swearing quite a bit, but I didn't realize you were swearing.
Yeah.
It wasn't in English, and it was so weird because during my first show, you actually see a cut where my head goes back, and then all of a sudden I'm facing forward and smiling, but it was because as I was going forward, I was just saying, fuck. So they cut that out completely, and it was right at the end after the MacArthur clue. So you just see my head go back, and then it just sinks in.
God.
Good stuff.
So I remember the one part where Mohan swore loud enough that Trebek said "Ha, we're gonna edit tape there."
Yeah,
and I looked for that. Yeah, I looked for that spot, and the edit is super obvious.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, and then Raj also did when he missed the daily double in the one final match, right?
Oh, did he? I didn't realize that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he. I mean, it wasn't as obvious as Mohan's, but I think the audience could tell. And so I pointed it out to my friends when we were watching last week.
But the middle finger was not intentional. That's the important part.
But that's the one thing that's gone viral. It's really, guys?
God.
Well, it's funny. I almost want to do a Freedom of Information Act request with the FCC in 6 to 8 months to find out if anyone actually complained about it.
That's actually kind of interesting.
You're alive!
It was funny 'cause Oh, talking to other people. Yeah, it's funny because when I showed my friends, they were immediately like, "Oh, he's doing the right hand rule with his left hand, and that's why it looks funny." I was like, "Of course, you guys are gonna pick up on that." But yeah. Man. Oh, I guess in my interview, in the first one, he was mostly just saying like, Natano, you did great. Like 18K is definitely gonna guarantee you going on. And then in the second one, he just kind of went on a rant about like millennials and self-absorbed culture and selfies, and I was like, okay, like, yeah.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah.
Was he surprised that only one of you got selfie?
I think so. Yeah, it's because it sounded like he was trying to hype it up. He was like, "Oh, yeah." Actually, he did. He said that like the writers thought that this would be a really easy clue for everybody. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I didn't know it went back that far. It was like, yeah, I mentioned like 2002. Which, like, and like it makes sense like now that I know it. But yeah, I didn't know it when I was just watching it.
I think it's again just like assuming like, oh, kids.
But it was not pleasant.
Yeah, they Jeopardy actually elected to snap. Yeah, I think we heard you, Mari. Yeah, you were like, it's not pleasant, right? Mari? Can Mari hear us?
That's a really good question.
Vaguely, I'm going in and out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We did hear you say that you saw the picture and it wasn't pleasant, and yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Oh, I haven't looked up the picture of the selfie.
Oh yeah, they put it on their Snapchat.
Yeah, Jeopardy put it on
their Snapchat. I'm like, the Jeopardy Snapchat has added me back because I was like snapping them like throughout the audition process and stuff. And so now I'm like officially friends with Jeopardy Snapchat. So good stuff.
It's so cool to watch them post things. They have the snapticles, the spectacles.
Yeah, the spectacles.
They're so cool.
Wait, is it like Google Glass for Snapchat? Is that what it is?
I mean, they look like sunglasses, but there's like a camera inside of them.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, they're legit.
They're like a hipstery Google Glass because it has two cameras rather than just one.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting. Mm-hmm. I've never seen them myself.
I gotta Google this. Yeah.
Yeah, just like Google image search like Snapchat spectacles, and you'll get it.
That's kind of weird. Yeah, but it's pretty like discreet. If you didn't know what it was, I wouldn't know what this was. Yeah.
So I guess it's a little bit different with the sequester and all that, but I guess a double-barreled question here. What did you guys have for lunch in the sequester? And those of you who had already played, what did you guys get for lunch in the commissary?
Okay, well, since I was the only one in the green room of us three, they brought us sandwiches and pizza. I think they brought us more soda because there was like some initially in the fridge, but we had like gone through most of it. Yeah, there was like some different salads and desserts. It was pretty decent, but like, yeah, it was just really weird because like we couldn't leave the room. So.
Oh, Rip Mari.
Oh no.
Mari, I think, had some internet difficulties, and she will be back shortly, I'm sure. She'll make an attempt to reconnect. And yeah, Lily?
Yeah, it was like a pretty standard cafeteria. They had like pizza and sandwiches, and I can't remember. It was pretty standard. I think I had like a roast beef the first day, and then the second day I had I think I had pizza. Yeah. The prices were pretty. It was pretty funny. I tried to get like a lemonade, and then they were like, "This is over budget," and it was $6. And I was like, "What? What kind of lemonade is $6 a bottle?" And I was like, "Jeez."
Lemonade from golden lemons.
Yeah, you know, like caressed from a small lemon seed to like an adult lemon. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. On the second day, I was allowed to just eat in the cafeteria, and I got a sandwich. It was good.
So I guess you were the alternate for the semifinals. Is that right,
yeah.
Allison? So
I was.
So what is that experience like? You know.
I don't know. It was kind of like all the fun of the first day without any of the pressure. I mean, like once I decided that I wasn't going to push any of my fellow contestants like down some stairs or something and sweep in to like take their place. Like I kind of just got to like enjoy myself and just like hang out at Jeopardy for the day. And so also like on the second day, I was able to watch all the matches because obviously the scores don't matter the second day. So yeah, it was just fun. Like I got to like see people again and also like get like my makeup and stuff done again, even like play in the practice matches. But even though like I knew I wouldn't be playing, but yeah, it was pretty fun.
Uh-huh.
And now like I know that there will be someone to sympathize with like every tournament I watch from here on out. So because like I didn't know there was an alternate semifinalist. So
That is, in fact, the case. I think they've had to, by my recollection in tournaments, they've had to use it once. There was a seniors tournament where after the quarterfinals, they realized that one of the contestants was actually ineligible to play because he had been on Wheel of Fortune too recently. And they had to replace him with the alternate.
oh.
But that's some fun random Jeopardy history there. Speaking of, sympathizing with, somebody in every tournament and having an alternate, how else is it different watching Jeopardy now that you've actually been on the show as a contestant?
I haven't watched any Jeopardy, I guess, since because I still don't have TV access. I think like I guess just seeing the comments on the subreddit, like people are being really creepy towards Kirsten and stuff like that, and I like totally empathize with that because just from the amount of like creepy comments that I've gotten as a contestant, it's just like it's hard to remember that it's hard to see that people forget people are real people and not just like media objects sometimes.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, definitely. Also just like I watch Jeopardy a lot with my mom, and so like sometimes we'll get like pretty snarky on the contestants. But like even like as I was like talking to her like after it all went down, she was like yeah, I think I'll like lighten up on the contestants just because like like you do have like time pressure and then like buzzer timing and just stuff like that, and so there's like so much that factors into whether someone can play well or not, and like a lot of those things are like out of their control. So
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing is that when I watch Jeopardy at home, I never really thought about the contestants up there. I always kind of viewed the show as like a medium to receive trivia, right? And I mean, like the star of the show isn't the people running it. You get like Ken Jennings and like Arthur Chu and like people who people know, but ultimately like Trebek is the star. And what's his job? His job is to give trivia to the contestants and to the audience. So.
Interesting way to think about it. I don't know. I would just have like a lot of people like asking me like, "What's Alex Trebek like?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really know." Like, but that's partly because like they don't want me to really know. And I'm like, "But everyone on the production staff is like super awesome." So.
Yep.
So, what sort of post Jeopardy plans do you guys have?
Just like, what am I going to do with my life?
I guess. I mean, I know you're close to grad school, Lily. I'm not. But so what sort of, I guess near future, academic plans do you guys have?
Yeah. So I'm graduating in June. I just found out that I am 3 for 3 on graduate school applications today. I'm going into library and information science master's program to be a librarian someday. So
nice. Yeah, so I'm also graduating this year, and I'm going for grad school in robotics. So doing the visit weekend stuff like that. I'm 3 for 4 though, so not doing as well as Allison.
Did the rejection come before or after you won Jeopardy?
After Jeopardy, so.
Oh, wow. Okay. Win Jeopardy, but we don't need this person on our campus. Wow,
Yeah,
that's harsh.
Did you include Jeopardy in like your resume that like you had to like send on the different applications?
No, because I had already sent it out in November was the due date. Yeah, due date for grad school.
Yeah, I like turned in all of mine like at the end of January. So like at that point I was able to put like Jeopardy college championship 2017 contestant.
Yeah. So, okay.
Just under like other experience. So
man. No, I had to get my grad school apps real early.
STEM.
So, my next question for you guys, it's usually it's something I usually ask of everyone. One of my panelists last season, brought it up in kind of our open season, and I've really liked it, and I've started asking it of everyone. So, for you guys, and I'll ask if Mari does happen to come back, I'll ask her. I'll come back to this and ask her as well. But everyone seems to have that point where they've kind of fallen in love with Jeopardy, and I know you guys have touched on that a little bit, but kind of at what specific point did you realize that you were a big Jeopardy fan?
I think for me, like Jeopardy's always just been very present in my house. My mom watches it a lot, and so that's how I kind of like picked up on it. Early on in Ken Jennings's run, I was like 9. There was a Final Jeopardy clue where like the answer was SpongeBob SquarePants because like I got it because they mentioned like the creator like in the clue as like being like a marine biologist educator or something, and like I got it, and like my parents didn't because they don't watch SpongeBob. But like I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe I could actually get this. And so yeah, I remember watching Ken Jennings's run, and then really like once I got to middle school, just because of like when my school got out and when Jeopardy was on in my area, is when I really started to watch and like slowly like got better at it. So yeah, like 10 plus years. So
Nice.
I think for me, like, Jeopardy had always, again, like, you know, even from a young age, you get dinner and you sit in front of the TV and like kind of play along with the contestants. So I'm a second generation American, so my parents weren't. I don't think trivia is as much of a thing in China or Taiwan, but like they're into American culture, and I think if there was a movie trivia show, they'd do pretty well because they love watching movies, and they like we often have discussions of like, oh, it's like that actor who was in that movie, but like this is kind of similar to his role from this. But I think I really got into like, oh, Jeopardy's a thing I can actually try out for and do well when my RA was on Jeopardy, and we were all cheering and, you know, having our watching parties for him. He said, "What is Doge?" on TV, so we were really excited about that. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's really when it was like when the test came out, he was encouraging us all to be like, "Oh, just take it, and it's a great time." And yeah, auditions were really fun. So.
How many times did you guys try out? Was this both your first time?
This is my second time, so yeah.
it was my first, and I like honestly, yeah,
Oh,
did not
nice.
expect to make it like that far. Like so, yeah, it was kind of really like yeah, like I thought I was going to like try to audition for this and then like have to like resign myself to going just like on the regular show because this would have been my last chance for the college. But yeah.
Are you both glad you made it to the college tournament as opposed to, I guess, waiting for adult Jeopardy?
Oh,
I
mean,
suspect your answers.
I'm trying to like think of an answer. So I don't know.
I suspect your answers might be slightly different and slightly more, slightly biased by your respective results. But
I mean, I thought about the question beforehand, because one of my friends actually, he graduated last year and he was invited to college championship and actually turned it down, because he thought he was going. He thought about it and he said, "I think expected value, I can make more money on the regular show than on college championship." But like, so I thought about it and I was like, look, they're paying like $5,000 off the bat instead of like 1,000 or 2,000, right? Like that's a 2/3. Like the expected value is you win more money on college Jeopardy than I think regular show.
it's interesting that he turned it down. I wonder I wonder if he'd regret that if he ends up not getting on the adult show.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's one of those Quiz Bowl kids who does really well. Like he was on MIT's college Quiz Bowl team for like all 4 years. So I suspect he'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm happy I did it. Mostly just because like I am the first person from my school to like do the college championship, so that was really cool on that front. So
Nice.
Yeah.
And of course, Lawrence does, with the Great Midwest Trivia Contest, does have a bit of a trivia tradition. So
yeah, though I mean, like nothing is relevant. Like it's not important trivia that they ask for Great Midwest trivia for Lawrence trivia. So it's all like very obscure stuff.
Well, of course, because otherwise, it becomes a Googling contest, and
I mean, like it is like like it's more like a Googling scavenger hunt, mostly just because the questions are very much like multi-part. So you had to like get like the name of this band and then like their album that connects to this thing and that thing, and then you find the image on their website or something.
Is there a speed bonus?
So.
Because I imagine like if you knew it straight off the bat, that would be pretty cool.
No, but like there have been like a couple of things that like I have known straight off the bat, just because like they are like really specific to things I'm into. Like there were a couple like Welcome to Nightville questions. I'm just like, like I know like exactly where to find that because I just listened to that episode or something.
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. And it's also like really cool when like they're reading out the teams that got it right, and you're like the only one on campus to get it right, or like the only one in like period to get it right, like across off campus non.
So how did you guys find the social media reaction in general to this year's college tournament? I know Nikki Peters last time made a name for herself with, I guess, responding and or retweeting all of her haters on Twitter. Now, how did you guys find social media this time around?
Yeah, mine wasn't that bad. I mean, obviously, probably just because I only made it through one game. There were like a couple people on Twitter that were like, "Wow, Allison's just like standing around," and like, "Shut up, guys! There was a sports category," and like timing on the buzzer wasn't good. I know there were like a couple people that have just like screenshotted. They're like, "Hey, Allison's cute." I'm like, "Thanks, guys." So, yeah, mine wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I saw Nikki's thing where she like retweeted all her haters. But I'm not that public, so I just have like big Word documents with all my haters, and also like the congratulations, so I have something to look at. I thought I was going to. I don't have like my finals because after the first day of finals, I was like, oh, I'll just do it like it's back to back. I'll just do all the second day finals, and then I forgot that I did that. Spiciest meme lord answer. I was like, there's no hope. There's no hope of me archiving anything at this point. But yeah, overall, I thought I was actually really nervous about the comments because I was like, oh, women on the internet, especially I do game studies, like women on the internet is like never a good thing. Yeah. But when I got my first piece of hate, I actually was like really excited because I was just like, it's just so petty to like form an opinion of someone that you've only met for like 20 minutes on a screen. You haven't even met, you've just seen on the screen for 20 minutes, right? And it's a very edited production, right? Like, I started to doubt my own memories because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I said that something there, but I like, it doesn't look like I am. So
yeah, like I was surprised of like all of like the Reddit back and forth about Insane Clown Posse versus Policy, because like when I watched it live, like I watched it happen and I just heard you say Posse, but I don't know, maybe that was just like me willing to think you were right because I knew what it was or something. Yeah.
Or like Mohan, like Zelda versus Zoda, and it's like, come on, right?
He knows it, and also like, why did you put Zelda as a $2,000 clue?
Yeah, that's a real question.
Really, writers, come on. I know you use spin-off games, but
I know that I like to compare it to people who watch, or at least used to watch, PGA Tour golf events and be armchair referees, because what used to happen in golf tournaments, people would watch the television broadcast, and they would write the PGA Tour with whatever rules violations that the golfers happened to do while they were on television, and people actually got retroactively disqualified from events based on what people would write into the PGA Tour about.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And apparently these people now watch Jeopardy and are armchair judges.
Oh.
But what I always like to say that the judges, as far as I know, they seem to have a pretty good handle on what is said or not said, and they're on everything. And if something has not been corrected or corrected, that they are reasonably certain of their decision. And what a bunch of viewers are going to say after it airs is not going to affect anything.
Yeah.
So let's see. A couple of random comments, questions. Let's see. From Ben S. Seriously, what Jeopardy player also tries out for Wheel of Fortune? There are more than you think. There are quite a few who've been on both. He feels terrible for all female contestants because of internet hate. Oh, a question from Jason Sterlacki. What was the longest delay during a game to verify an answer?
Smoke detector versus smoke alarm.
Oh,
was pretty
yeah.
long.
Well, because when Mari answered, Alex was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Because he had forgotten the category and I guess just like hadn't been looking at the answer or like what was like only accepted as the correct answer. So yeah, he had initially ruled her right, and then like the judges were like, no, you don't know more than us. Like, yeah. There was also a snafu with a video question about Virgo that I felt like kind of like messed up the flow in one of the games.
There was
But
one.
it wasn't obvious like in post. So
there was one that was in a game with Julia in the quarterfinals, I think.
Yeah, the last quarterfinal game. I don't remember what it was though, but like like it did like noticeably like break the flow of the gameplay and stuff.
Because I remember that one because it was the first time. So when they stop tape and they like redo a decision, they'll actually like replay the last bit of audio, and then so like it can transition in seamlessly. And so when it happened, I was like, "Why is Julia talking? Well, she's not talking on stage." Yeah,
she's so talented. She can talk without moving her mouth.
Now, I've actually heard from people that can be disconcerting as well, especially if you've just made a mistake and they're trying to come back. I know Laurie McDougall's mentioned this a couple of times on panel here that she had to hear herself make a mistake at least three times coming back off of a taping break, and it really it kind of messed up her mojo quite a bit because she felt like such an idiot. But let's see. Anything else? Let me just check the hashtag. Was there anything you thought I would bring up tonight but didn't? Any random questions you have for each other that you want to bring up on the panel?
I don't know. I kind of felt like the pre-screening view, like it was kind of like catching up. Like, oh, hey, how's everyone doing?
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that Mari's internet cut out. She was I was really enjoying her insights.
Oh yeah, Mari is just really great.
Yeah.
What sort of I'm sorry. You guys obviously have a lot of camaraderie because through the tournament. You guys have like a group chat going?
We do. And to no one's surprise, it is in fact called the Spiciest Meme Lord.
And yeah, it was literally It started off as like a coordination of like, yo, let's actually get dinner and or ice cream and or hot tub. For immediately afterwards. I've been visiting people like at a Stanford grad school weekend. I met up with Viraj. That was cool. And my friends were going to go to DC, so I'm going to try to see if I can go to the Naval Academy and also Georgetown. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then I know Mari was Snapchatting me last night that she turned in an application for an internship potentially at the Chicago Art Institute, and I was like, that's not ridiculously far from me. So yeah, it'd be really cool to see her this summer. Just because like I got back to campus and I don't know, like I almost like expected you guys to like be there, and I'm like, wait,
Oh.
they
Aw.
don't actually go to my college. They're just
thi-
like people I would hang out with at Lawrence.
I think that's the funny thing is that
So.
like they intentionally choose people who are not likely to know each other. But
Mhm.
that also means is that like, you know, at the end you're like, well, you're everyone's scattered around the country. So
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's probably a lot easier than it was, say, 20 years ago to keep in touch with everyone in the tournament. So,
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Mm.
okay. Well, I'm just going to check the hashtag one last time to make sure there are no other random questions or comments here. It looks like we are empty. So thank you guys both. Also to Mari for joining me tonight here on hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel. With the audio simulcast of this, you'll get to hear a couple of extra audio things I've put together for the TJF Andy Awards. The nominees will be released with that when the audio simulcast hits your favorite podcast listening app, whether that is iTunes or Google Play or however you choose to consume your podcasts. So once again, thank you guys for joining me tonight on hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel. We'll be back with a regular episode taped next Monday evening, back to our regular Monday at 8 p.m. time. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciated it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
Thank you.
And
having us.
pass along my best to the other contestants as well. I quite enjoyed this tournament, and you guys were all excellent, and were made for some quite enjoyable television for sure.
All right, thank you.
Cool, thanks.
Okay, so I will put up the credits card here. So for everyone here at hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel and the JeopardyFan.com, thank you for joining in, for tuning in, for listening, for taking part, and I will see you in next time. Have a great night.